All right, guys, welcome to Medication. We're going live and just checking YouTube. YouTube is now live and Instagram is live. Let's get it started. Let's get this show started. It's Monday morning. We have the end of the government shutdown and we got Trump going live with Syria. So here we go.
In the pain. It appears to us this morning that our long national nightmare is finally coming to an end, and we're grateful for that. At least some Democrats now finally appear ready to do what Republicans and President Trump and millions of hardworking American people have been asking them to do for weeks. But as we said from the beginning, the people's government cannot be held hostage to further anyone's political agenda. That was never right. And shutting down the government never produces anything. It never has, if you study history. And so here we are. I want to remind everybody this morning of another critical point that you've heard me here repeat over and over the last several weeks. It's something that I and Leader John Thune and President Trump and every Republican leader have all said repeatedly from the beginning. We have always been open to finding solutions to reduce the oppressive costs of health care under the Unaffordable Care Act. We just made clear that we would not and should not ever do that.
Wow, aquariums. I wonder why that's happening, bro. Yeah, I don't see a notification myself, to be honest. I just see an email. What's up, buddy? Good to have you.
That is negotiate as hostages. And I've also reminded you here every morning at this press conference throughout the shutdown, Republicans have not just been talking about reducing costs and fraud and abuse in so many areas and in healthcare. We've been actually passing new laws to accomplish that urgent mission for the people, and we will continue to do so. So here's where we are by way of schedule, just so you know, you're following. And if you're not at home, if you're waking up to this good news this morning, the Senate's vote late last night of 60 to 40 opens the door now. The Senate is moving forward on an amended House CR, a continuing resolution, that will reopen the government until January 30th. Added to that are provisions to fully fund SNAP provisions through the end of the next fiscal year, which is September 2026, guaranteed back pay for all federal workers who have been made to endure these hardships over the last several weeks. And it also includes passage of 3 appropriations bills, which we're grateful.
What's up, State Line? What's up, Jennifer? Jennifer says she got the notification. Jennifer, was that via email or a push notification on your phone?
We'll be moving through the process. That is the Military Construction Veterans Affairs bill. It's the Agriculture bill and the Legislative Branch bill. The Senate will be back in session this morning to finish their job, and we're certainly praying that they do. They'll need unanimous consent from all senators to fast-track their final vote. As you know, there are some procedural hurdles that one or more could throw in the way, but we certainly hope that they won't do that because so many people across this country are desperate for the government to reopen. At the very moment that they do that final vote, I will call all House members to return to Washington as quickly as possible. We'll give a 36-hour formal and official notice so that we can vote as soon as possible to pass the amended CR bill and get it to the president's desk. As you all know, and he said as recently as last night, I was with him, and he told the press, he said, we want to get the government open. He's very anxious to get the government reopened and to end the Schumer shutdown. We all are. With regard to the travel challenges, I spoke yesterday at some length with Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, my former colleague and good friend, and he lamented the
Schumer shutdown or the Dem shutdown, guys. Which one is better, Dem shutdown or Schumer? I'm going to change my title.
Situation that we have with air travel in the U.S. He's bent over backwards, as all members of the administration and the cabinet have done in all of their areas of jurisdiction, to try to keep the government working for the people and to mitigate the pain and the harm. But the problem we have with air travel is that our air traffic controllers are overworked and unpaid, and many of them have called in sick. That's a very stressful job, and even more stressful exponentially when they're having trouble providing for their families. And so air travel has been grinding to a halt in many places. And as of Sunday, nearly half of all domestic flights and U.S. flights were either canceled or delayed. And it's a very serious situation. So I'm saying that by way of reminder. I'm stating the obvious to all my colleagues, Republicans and Democrats in the House. You need to begin right now returning to the Hill. We have to do this as quickly as possible. Now, we look forward to the government reopening this week so Congress can get back to our regular legislative session. We have a lot of business to do, as you all know, and we will be working in earnest. There'll be long days and long nights here for the foreseeable future to make up for all this lost time that was imposed upon us. I want to close with something that's important. I think it's important to say that this is genuine. I mean this sincerely. We applaud the 7 Senate Democrats and 1 independent senator who.
We applaud them too, man. Glad for those Democrats to go ahead and do the right thing. Although some of them did come on live and say they want the continuation of the Obamacare subsidies for the people that make over 200K, or I believe it's 250K, to get subsidies from the government to lower the cost of their health insurance. Did the right thing. They decided to put principle over their personal politics. And my urgent plea of all my colleagues in the House, and that means every Democrat in the House, is to think carefully, pray, and finally do the right thing and help us to bring an end to the pain of the American people. This has gone on too long. Too many people have suffered, and it's long overdue. That's the update I wanted to give you this morning. There are probably lots of questions, but I'm going to get a lot of my own questions answered later today, so stay tuned for more. Thanks so much.
Maddo and Rivera are live from Washington with the latest on when we can expect this shutdown to officially end. Maddie, good morning.
Good morning, Todd. Well, the vote the Senate took overnight is the first step in a series of procedural maneuvers. And of course, the House will have to vote on the package, too. So it will take a few more days before the government reopens. But Sunday's vote was the first clear sign that a bipartisan deal had been reached after a roughly 40-day stalemate. The Senate voted 60-40 to back a revamped GOP funding bill that would keep the government open until the end of January. 8 Democrats joined Republicans to pass the bill, including Senate Minority Whip Dick Durbin, Senators Tim Kaine, Catherine Cortez Masto, and Jack.
Here they are, guys. Let me zoom in so you can see who they are. These are the 8 Democrats that voted. Now, we know Fetterman on the bottom left has been voting since the beginning to open the shutdown, to open the government. And then we have all of these other Democrats that also just recently have joined in.
Jackie Rosen, among others.
This is the beginning to show and fight for Americans across the country. Let me just say this. With the government open, we can focus on passing a full bipartisan budget for 2026.
I understand that not all of my Democratic colleagues are satisfied with this agreement, but waiting another week or another month wouldn't deliver a better outcome. So let me be clear. No one in the Senate chamber wants to extend the ACA tax credits more than I do.
I joined this group to make sure that we could get important protections for federal employees. And what we have in this bill is the restoration of all the furloughed employees and a guarantee of their back pay.
So despite them touting what they did get, these Dems are facing criticism from their party because the package does not include a deal on Obamacare subsidies. It only includes a guarantee on a vote for the tax credits, far from what progressives and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer had pushed for.
Tonight, 8 Democrats voted with the Republicans to allow them to go forward on this continuing resolution. And to my mind, this was a very, very bad vote. We got a lot of work.
So we got Democrats splitting with each other on this, and these Democrats, Bernie Sanders and some of the others, Schumers of this, Jeffries of this world, these guys are mad. They're pissed that this happened. I don't know if this is part of their tactic, which they're going to act like they're mad, and they're going to basically, this is what they were saying is going to happen. The Republicans were saying the plan that the Dems have is to have some of their party vote for it so they can get past the shutdown. Yet these Democrats, like the Bernie Sanders, AOC, Hakeem Jeffries, and Schumers, are going to act like they're mad about it, even though they're the ones that also wanted it to open, because it's looking bad for Democrats all over the place. So every day that this shutdown goes further, it looks worse and worse for the Democrats. So this could be part of their tactic that we're seeing right now.
To do. But to be honest with you, tonight was not a good night.
Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna is already targeting Schumer, saying Senator Schumer is no longer effective and should be replaced. If you can't lead the fight to stop health care premiums from skyrocketing for Americans, what will you fight for? Moving forward, senators need to reach a time agreement before holding a final vote on the package. Then it will only need a simple majority to pass the upper chamber. Todd.
Miles to go before we sleep. Maddie, thank you. With that, let us bring in.
You guys know what he's talking about when he says miles to go before we sleep? Curious if anyone in the chat knows. And by the way, Aquariums, you're right. I can post it on our Discord when I'm going to go live. That's a good point.
Trump. Jason Miller. And Jason, you heard in Maddie's report the Democrats touting all of the things that they got. But to me, they didn't really get anything.
Maggie, you know what he's saying when he says miles to go before we sleep?
All they got was a promise.
Anybody know what that is?
Vote on
without
Obamacare
searching?
Subsidies.
Without,
so Jason, what was
without going to Google with it?
The point of all this?
Well, exactly. There was no point. This entire shutdown was unnecessary. It was unneeded. And the only reason
I'll give you a hint. It's a poem.
reason why it happened is because Senator Chuck Schumer and other Senate Democrats are scared to death of the extremist wing of
Eric M says, Medi, but federal employees don't have to worry about healthcare premiums. These healthcare premiums, these senators and Congress don't have to worry about. Well, they do have to worry about. They get a discounted healthcare, but the other people, everyone else does. State Line called it Robert Frost poem. You're exactly right. That poem, Miles to Go Before I Sleep. Miles to Go Before I Sleep. That's Robert Frost. It's a poem. It's a beautiful poem from a long time ago. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, and I have miles to go before I sleep.
The AOCs and
I didn't say it right, but
primary challenges.
I'll read it to you
if
you want me to pull it up.
Here, both from Americans, travelers who were stranded at airports or had flights canceled, members of the military who had to stand in line for food banks because they didn't have money coming in because of what the Senate Democrats did. And also, I think there'll be a reckoning, as we saw from Ro Khanna saying this about Senator Schumer, from the extremist left within the Democrat base saying, Chuck Schumer, why did you cave? So this was completely unnecessary. It was unneeded all along. Senator John Thune said, just simply pass the continuing resolution, open government, then we could talk about health care. But instead, Chuck Schumer decided to hold everybody hostage.
Again, the exact same continuing resolution that everybody voted for back in March. Nothing.
So this isn't that much of a surprise. These are Republicans on Republican media channels talking against Chuck Schumer. We want to see which Democrats, if any, will talk against Chuck Schumer. I don't think it's going to happen.
Nothing changed except for the primaries from the left that you just mentioned. For the rest of this week, Senate Democrats can really do this the easy way, or they can do this the hard way. They can fast track the process to get this to the House quickly, or they can force it to just drag on all week long. Which path do you think the Democrats in the Senate will choose?
I think even though many of the Senate Democrats will echo the thoughts of Bernie Sanders saying that they didn't like this vote, I think the reality is that the vast majority, the biggest group of Senate Democrats, are glad that some of their colleagues caved because this is what everybody wanted. There was no one at home who was saying, Senators, thank you for keeping the government shut down. This was massive chaos. We saw what it did to the markets. We saw from Secretary Bessent saying the impact that this has had on the economy. And Americans want to get going with life. And we don't want to be held up and held hostage by nonsense political games.
All right, I'm going to put this in the category.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here and say something because in the chat, Eric M is saying we want Dems to split. Now, here's the thing. The Democrats are known for not splitting, not calling each other out in their own party. And I think that's to their detriment. I think that the fact that you have Republicans, conservatives calling each other out, going on podcasts, speaking against each other, disagreeing with each other is the big win, the big W for Republicans. It shows it's not a cult. It's whoever has the best policy, whoever has the best ideas win. It goes back to Charlie Kirk. It's, if you come up with good ideas, good policies, we will look at it, scrutinize it, and if it makes sense, we'll support it. But if you don't, we're going to call you out, which is great. You see on the Republican side, you had people, I say it all the time, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., they were Democrats. They came to the Republican side. Why? Because they saw what's right versus what's wrong. And you have that all the time. Right now, you constantly have people on the Republican side calling each other out. You had, who was it? You had someone that went on Bill Maher recently, called out Donald Trump for not releasing the Epstein files. That's how it goes. Oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she did that. I mean, we see it all the time. We never see it on the Democratic side. If we see it, very few and far between, and it's part of a tactic. I think it's better to keep them doing what they're doing. Ever since last year's election, they did not change their tune. The Democrats have been doing the same things, pushing the same bullshit, and it's not helped them. Their ratings are lower and lower every month that goes by, that they continue doing the same thing and being more like a cult. So if you see them continue to do that, I think it's to their detriment. I think if what Eric says, we want them to split, I think that will be the resurrection of the Democratic Party. I think if the Republicans split, if the Democrats split, that will be the beginning of the resurrection of the Democratic Party. That's when, if you see a split ever happen, that's when you'll see one side of the Democratic Party split and say, you know what, this thing is right, this one is wrong, and more Democrats will jump on the right bandwagon of the Democratic side. And then you'll start to see a Democratic side that grows and starts going after doing the right things for the Democrats. Now, as a person that is about America first, I would rather have that happen, because then now we have two parties, Republicans going after what's right, not just our cult, and you have the Democrats that are going to go after what's right and not just what's their cult following. And I think that's better for our country, but it's not better for the Republican Party, because Republicans will have a difficult time winning if the Democrats split and you have some going to the right side. Now, who is the only Democrat right now that we know out in public saying that he is for the right thing, not the status quo? John Fetterman. John Fetterman is the only one that comes out and says, this is stupid. I'm not going to keep following my fellow Democrats down this bad path, and that we should just keep dragging us down, down, down. And actually, they're bad policies. They're things that Americans do not agree with. So that's what you'll see is I'm looking actually forward to that break and for it to grow. But I know it's not ideal for the Republican Party.
Story of good news, even though obviously we didn't need to get here this way. This other thing could really be good news. Let's get to this now. President Trump promising a tariff dividend to all Americans. Quote, people that are against tariffs are fools. We are now the richest, most respected country in the world with almost no inflation and a record stock market price. 401ks are highest ever. We are taking in trillions of dollars and will soon begin paying down our enormous debt, $37 trillion. Record investment in the U.S., plants and factories going up all over the place. Here's the key part, Jason, a dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high-income people.
Dude, I want to hear that from the chat. What do you guys think about this announcement from Trump? He's saying, Trump literally said yesterday he's going to give $2,000. The government's going to give $2,000 to every one of us as a result of these tariffs. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Will be
and what are you going to spend your $2,000
paid
on?
To everyone. Jason, how realistic is this? Could our bank accounts actually see a boost?
So I love this idea from President Trump, and this is the way that he always looks outside of the political norms and says he can deliver for the American people. We're still digging our way out of the hole that Joe Biden left us, 4 years of absolute financial chaos. And we're seeing what President Trump is doing with the big, beautiful bill, the no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. But many Americans are still struggling to get back on foot after what they saw from Joe Biden. And so I think this idea to take $2,000 per person with the exception of the higher wage earners and say, let's give Americans a little bit of a boost here, let them get some of that credit that's coming in from the tariffs, I think it'll be a great shot in the arm. It'll dovetail right with what President Trump is doing by bringing down gas costs and other costs and keeping inflation low. So I love it. I hope they do it.
I hope they can do it, but also pay down the $37 trillion in debt that you heard the president mention there. If they can do both, I think that is a win-win, but we will see. Jason Miller, thank you, sir, for getting up with us on a Monday.
House Democrats and Senate Democrats have been fighting hard to address the Republican health care crisis and to lower the high cost of living for everyday Americans in the United States of America.
By the way, guys, we have Trump meeting live with the, I believe it's the interim president of Syria. So I'm keeping an eye on that. As soon as it comes live, I'm going to play it for us. Because they'll take questions from media and everybody else, and it's going to be interesting to watch.
The reality is, America is too expensive. And far too many people are struggling to live paycheck to paycheck. They can't thrive. They can barely survive. And that's why Democrats have been waging this fight. And we'll continue to wage this fight. No matter what comes over to us from the United States Senate to the House of Representatives at some point this week. Our position as House Democrats has been crystal clear. We will sit down with any Republicans, anytime, any place, anywhere, in order to find a bipartisan.
Are you going to wear your sombrero when you do that?
Forward, but we're not down with their my way or the highway approach to governance. That's failed the American people. It's been a disaster for the American people.
It's been a disaster for the Democrat Party, bro. You guys have been shutting down the government, and you guys are looking like morons. Now, finally, you have some Democrats that bailed you guys out, bro. They voted to open the government. Finally got bailed out.
And the American people know it, which is why last Tuesday, Republicans all across the country got wiped out. One of the most decisive off-year elections ever in modern American history. And so as House Democrats, we know we're on the right side of this fight, the right side of the American people. And we're not going to support partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of the American people. And we're going to continue the fight to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. And if it doesn't happen this week, next week, this month, next month, then it's the fault of Donald Trump, House and Senate Republicans, who continue to make life more expensive for the American people.
That's a lie, bro. That's not true, and you know that.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
Team Obama.
Questions?
Lying to the American people. Team Obama lying to the American people.
Democrats finally have stepped forward to end the pain. It appears to us this morning that our long national nightmare is finally coming to an end, and we're grateful for that. At least some Democrats now finally appear ready to do what Republicans and President Trump and millions of hardworking American people have been asking them to do for weeks.
Finally.
As we said from the beginning, the people's government cannot be held hostage to further anyone's political agenda. That was never right. And shutting down the government never produces anything. It never has, if you study history. And so here we are. I want to remind everybody this morning of another critical point that you've heard me here repeat over and over the last several weeks. It's something that I and Leader John Thune and President...
Guys, say hello to Miss Medication.
Hi, good morning.
What are you doing? You ready? Finally you have clothes on. You can come on the live and say hello to people.
Because I have a meeting.
Okay.
President Trump and every Republican
You're gonna come sit down with us for a minute?
have all said repeatedly from the beginning, we have always been open to finding solutions to reduce the oppressive costs of health care under the Unaffordable Care Act. We just made clear that we would not and should not ever do that, that is, negotiate as hostages. And I've also reminded you here every morning at this press conference throughout the shutdown, Republicans have not just been talking about reducing costs and fraud and abuse in so many areas and in healthcare. We've been actually passing new laws to accomplish that urgent mission for the people, and we will continue to do so. So here's where we are by way of schedule, just so you know, you're following. And if you're not at home, if you're waking up to this good news this morning, the Senate's vote late last night of 60 to 40 opens the door now. The Senate is moving forward on an amended House CR, a continuing resolution, that will reopen the government until January 30th. Added to that are provisions to fully fund SNAP provisions through the end of the next fiscal year, which is September 2026, guaranteed back pay for all federal workers who have been made to endure these hardships over the last several weeks. And it also includes passage of 3 appropriations bills, which we're grateful to be moving through the process. That is the Military Construction Veterans Affairs bill. It's the Agriculture bill.
In the chat, Christian Bennett says the Democratic Party is for Mexico and Republican Party is for the American people.
And the legislative branch bill.
They're for Mexico and every other country except for our country, bro, literally.
The Senate will be back in session this morning to finish their job, and we're certainly praying that they do. They'll need unanimous consent from all senators to fast-track their final vote. As you know, there are some procedural hurdles that one or more could throw in the way, but we certainly hope that they won't do that because so many people across this country are desperate for the government to reopen. At the very moment that they do that final vote, I will call all House members to return to Washington as quickly as possible. We'll give a 36-hour formal and official notice so that we can vote as soon as possible to pass the amended CR bill and get it to the president's desk.
Eric is saying, who are the Democrats that voted for this to reopen the government? I'm going to show you in the next clip.
As you all know, and he said as recently as last night, I was with him, and he told the press, he said, we want to get the government open. He's very anxious to get the government reopened and to end the Schumer shutdown. We all are. With regard to the travel challenges, I spoke yesterday at some length with Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, my former colleague and good friend, and he lamented the...
What do you think about, I have a question for you. What do you think about Gavin Newsom becoming president or running for president in 2028?
No.
Why not?
Because I said so.
Why?
Because who the F voted for him in the beginning? How is he how is he even in office?
Because
I think they cheated. I know it's an annoying thing to say, but there's just no way in hell, except Wayne. Wayne is the only person that voted for him.
Beta Wayne?
Because seriously, he sucks.
Yeah.
Serious situation that we have with air travel in the U.S.
That's like a rage bait.
Do you think he has a chance, though? That's the question. Do you think he has a chance?
I don't know. There's a lot of retarded Democrats, so.
Oh, shit. I can't believe you just used the R word. Now they're going to get their feelings hurt, though.
Oh, you're going to get canceled.
Yeah.
Love it.
He's bent over backwards, as all members of the administration and the cabinet have done in all of their areas of jurisdiction, to try to keep the government working for the people and to mitigate the pain and the harm. But the problem we have with air travel...
What do you think? You really think? Do you think he has a chance? Sorry,
I'm pissed off at that question.
Come closer to your mic so it's not.
No, I'm being serious. There's no... Do I think... oh, my God, look how long your eyebrow is. Guys, it's like hair. Oh, my
eyebrow goes all... I have an eyebrow that comes all the way down to here.
It is wild. Okay. Are you okay? Move your hair.
Look at this.
They don't want to see that. Okay, I really think, unfortunately, because his followers are retarded, that he might. But let's hope that we have someone amazing on our side so that it never happens, right?
Well, I mean, he's...
if they pick someone stupid to run against them, then yes, he has a chance. But if they pick someone great, that is likable, that has good policies.
Well, let's just say Trump 2028.
No, I'm not annoying like that.
How about JD Vance and Laura Trump against I don't
know anything about JD Vance that much. I just barely met him a year ago. Not met him, but I got to know about him when he got vice president. I don't know a lot about him, so I don't know if he's the greatest.
Do you think do you think people will vote for Newsom to become president 2028?
I already answered that question. What do you want from me?
I don't know, because that's one of those things. I'm
going to say no.
Yeah. I don't think so either,
Not
but
if we do what we're doing as Republicans.
I don't know. Joshua says Vance Rubio. How about Rubio?
Sure. Yeah,
Is that our
them
air
two
traffic
together.
controllers are overworked and unpaid, and many of them have called in sick. That's a very stressful
me to say
job
no?
and even more stressful.
No, I
exponential
want your opinion.
when
That's
they're
all.
I
having
already
trouble
gave it.
providing
I
for their
say,
families.
I
And
say
so
what I said.
air travel has been grinding to a halt in many places. And as of Sunday, nearly half of all domestic flights and U.S. flights were either canceled or delayed. And it's a very serious situation. So I'm saying that by way of reminder. I'm stating the obvious to all my colleagues, Republicans and Democrats in the House. You need to begin right now returning to the Hill. We have to do this as quickly as possible. Now, we look forward to the government reopening this week so Congress can get back to our regular legislative session. We have a lot of business to do, as you all know, and we will be working in earnest. There'll be long days and long nights here for the foreseeable future to make up for all this lost time that was imposed upon us. I want to close with something that's important. I think it's important to say that this is genuine. I mean this sincerely. We applaud the 7 Senate Democrats and 1 independent senator who did the right thing. They decided to put principle over their personal politics. And my urgent plea of all my colleagues
I'll show you
in the
the
House,
Democrats that voted
that
in
means
just
every
a second.
Democrat in the House.
I'm going to show
is
you guys
to-
in the next clip. In the next clip, I'm going to show you guys the Democrats that voted to open up our
to
government.
think carefully, pray,
And we all know one of them for sure.
and finally do the right thing and help us to bring an end to the pain of the American
Can you think of one Democrat off the top of your head that you know would vote to open the government?
people. This has gone on too long.
No.
Too many people have suffered.
Was
It's
it a
long
girl?
overdue.
No.
That's the update I wanted to give you this morning.
No.
There are probably lots of questions, but I'm
try
going to get a
not
lot
to
of my own
focus on
questions
them.
answered
I'll
later
give you
today.
one hint.
So stay
No.
tuned for more. Thanks so much.
I'm not.
They just said it in the chat.
I can't see the chat that well from here.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kill. Is because Senator Chuck Schumer and other Senate Democrats are
Right,
scared to
right,
death of the
right
extreme.
here.
Joined Republicans to pass the bill.
These guys are the Democrats right here that
Oh,
voted.
he did.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's John Fetterman.
Okay, I could see that.
Yes.
Thank
Pennsylvania.
God.
Yeah.
Do they only need one? Or they how many?
No, they needed, I think, what was it, 6 Democrats, but they got 8.
Okay.
Yeah, these are the Democrats, guys. So Dick Durbin from, what is it, Illinois? Tim Kaine, Catherine Cortez Masto, Jackie Rosen, Maggie Hassan, Jian Shaheen. Why do they have Arabic last names, Hassan and Shaheen? Are they married to Arabs?
Probably.
Really?
Because Muslims are like trying to take over USA. I'm serious.
Yeah.
That's why everybody like all of a sudden hates like Jewish people when it's like, what? It's because there's like a Muslim like takeover happening.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yep. Try to scoot forward a little bit.
Babe, I'm leaving.
So, guys, do you guys know if Shaheen and Hassan, these women are married to like Arabs? Because why are their last names Arab? Joshua says my mom's last name was Hassan. Is your mom last?
But he's Jewish, Joshua.
Is your mom Arab?
No, remember? He said he's Jewish.
Well,
Well,
I
you
mean,
could
Jewish
still
and
be.
Arab are you know?
Yeah,
and
you could still be.
you could still be, yeah. Angus King, Maine, and John Fetterman. The dude's name is Angus King.
These are great.
Candy says she agrees with you. Yeah, she agrees with you that I think when you said Muslims are trying to take over
Yeah,
the country,
yeah. It's
bro.
like so
Including
weird, 'cause
Senate
I've never
Minority Whip
seen
Dick
so many
Durbin.
people
Senators
all of a
overnight is the
sudden
first
hate,
step in a
it's
series
weird.
of
This is the CEO of JP Morgan Chase talking about Mayor Mamdani becoming mayor.
The CEO of America's biggest bank, Jamie Dimon. We're here in Detroit, where JP Morgan has invested billions of dollars. And one of the key businesses that helped revitalize this one bankrupt city was banking. And the big question tonight is what sort of relationship will big business, which is at the core of capitalism and at the core of New York City, what will they have with the new Democratic Socialist mayor, Zoran Mamdani? So I asked Jamie.
Crazy. Even he's outright Democrat socialist.
Dimon about his relationship with Mamdani.
He doesn't even know
Here
what that
is
means.
our exclusive interview. So, Jamie, we're sitting here in a partially finished new office space in Detroit that you're building. Happens to be the day after a Democratic Socialist just won the mayoral office in the city of New York, which is home for you. Are you going to increase investment outside New York?
We're not going to make quick decisions about New York, not New York right now. New York has some great things going for it, as you know, like the human capital, the brain power, the financial industry. So it's a center for us. But my question really saying is, New York has to compete. You know, no city has divine right to success. There are great cities everywhere. We now have more people in Texas than we have in New York. That didn't have to be that way. And so, you know, if I was any mayor of any city, I'd be thinking.
You agree with what?
He's a communist, not a socialist for the most part.
So that's Candy. You agree with Candy?
Yeah, me and Candy agree.
About what do I need to do to build a great city to help all of my citizens, and you know all the things that create good competition.
You talk about more people in Texas. All right, Zoran Mamdani, recently in a conversation I had with him, he said something that I wanted to play for you. Here he is.
Ew.
Do you like capitalism?
No, I have many critiques of capitalism.
You had recently referred, Jamie, to his platform such that you understood it as Marxist, was a word you used at a recent conference. Now, I know you just built that skyscraper in New York, right? You're $3 billion in. You know, you can't just walk away from that even if you wanted to. You got 24,000 employees, I believe, in New York altogether. I guess this is a very basic question because, you know, during this whole mayoral election, there was a lot of talk of this. Do you think any of those employees are actually going to get up and leave New York City because Zoran Mamdani is mayor?
So, first of all, people have left New York City. You've seen hedge funds and certain banks and Ken Griffin, and I think it's a bad idea. I mean, you want to have a very competitive city. And I don't want to use labels. The important thing to me is policies that actually work. Do you make crime better? Do you make the schools better? Do you make the health system better? I want to lift up all citizens, too. I've seen a lot of mayors and governors say things like that, and they fail to do it because their policies may not be so bad, but the implementation stinks. So to me is get this stuff right. You know, learn. He's a young man. You know, will he get good at it? I see a lot of people in big jobs, including political jobs, they grow into it. They're learning, they're trusting people, they're figuring it out, they'll make.
Guys, if you're wondering, this is the CEO of JP Morgan Chase talking about Mamdani.
Mistakes, they adjust. I've seen a lot of people, they kind of swell into the job. They get worse. It all becomes about them or something like that. I'm hoping he's the good one. And that will be important for the future of New York,
So he did talk about you specifically today. Actually, at his first press conference, our Gloria Pazmino asked him about you, and I will play for you what he said.
I look forward to meeting with Jamie Dimon and meeting with anyone who is concerned about the future of our city and is invested in the vitality of that same city. I think it is critically important that we start to embody a style of leadership that does not demand agreement across every single issue in order to even have a conversation.
You've been doing this job a long time, okay? But this is a new challenge, right? When he says, he wants a leadership that doesn't demand agreement across every single issue in order to have a conversation. That's one thing. But back to what he said a moment ago, can you agree to disagree on something as fundamental as capitalism?
Look, I don't know what he means by capitalism. And when I read a lot of people, they say that these flaws are capitalist flaws. They're not. Public policy works. You know, there's income problems in communist countries and socialist countries, and healthcare problems in communist countries. There are bad policies that cause those outcomes. It's not necessarily.
Okay, here's some. Okay, in the chat, Jack says, "Oh yeah, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase definitely has always had American interests in mind. What housing bubble?" He's being sarcastic, so obviously he doesn't. Joshua says that this guy funded Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris campaigns.
Capitalism. So when you say...
No wonder he's on CNN right now doing this interview.
What is your goal? I want to lift up all citizens, too.
Well, you've talked about income inequality.
Right. Of course. I think we have a problem. I think we have not lifted up the bottom 20% of society because their schools aren't working. You know, we got to acknowledge that. How do you fix the schools? You got to acknowledge the problem. Their income didn't go up enough. I would double the earned income tax credit. Their crime is worse in those neighborhoods. So while they're being lectured to by other people, they're the ones who go to crime-ridden neighborhoods. Their schools don't teach them job skills. So yeah, we need to fix those things. Those things, in my opinion, are not Democrat. They're not Republican.
What's up? What are you holding back on? You like communism?
No.
What?
I don't even understand. How does a mayor even have power to lower rent and things like that? You don't. Like what's his name is saying, right?
You can put rent controls. You can freeze.
You can?
You can implement things.
Without anybody voting or anything like that, you could just do it?
Well, I think he has, on a lot of things, he has to get approval from the governor of the state.
Yeah,
he
and
can't
the governor already said, I'm not doing that.
Well, the governor of New York,
She said, I'm not doing that. I saw it. She literally did an interview and said, I'm not going to do that. Stop with that shit.
Well, if the Democrats continue to become... so Democrats have changed genders, not just their actual genders, but they changed their party political genders, that I call it. They went from being like this whole thing of, what is it? Woke became broke. So now they went from woke to socialism, right? And so they're going to go from socialism to communism. And guess what the leaders of the Democratic Party have to do? They have to follow along with this bullshit. So now the Democratic leaders have to become socialists. So guess what the governor of New York is going to have to become?
Yeah, no.
I don't know. So it's, I mean,
Republican, they're not flows of capitalism.
It is what it is.
Not flows of socialism. They are bad.
Push will come to shove at some point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll have to see. A lot of people say we're going to have to see how this plays out, but we don't know.
Policy badly executed. And so anyone who wants to fix those things, I'm all in. This mayor here, that was all he cared about. I want to fix the potholes. I reduce crime. I want the schools to work. I want to bring jobs. And you know what? Unemployment here, 23% to 7%. And this city had gone bankrupt.
Right.
And now it's investment grade.
And they did it, as you point out, right? One of the first calls that Mayor Duggan here in Detroit made was to you. And there were
I called him.
You called him.
You want to call that out? We got a super chat. Go ahead, call it out.
I'd rather not. Still wear a MAGA hat after him covering Epstein. You're such a loser, because where was this energy for Biden? Epstein was during Biden's time, and nobody was asking him about where the F are the files. He's already released a bunch of shit. Go read it. Okay? Like, so weird.
Damn, Miss Medication had to put you in your place, bro. First of all, thank you for the super chat. But
take your money, shove it up your ass. Nobody wants your $1.99.
So
next time you want to chat, please put like lots of zeros after that.
Damn, Miss Medication got him, dude. So listen, you're complaining about the Epstein files. Guess who's the only president that has done something about the Epstein files?
Literally, the only one that even lets you talk about it. Really.
Yep. Your daddy, Trump. Trump is your daddy, and he's going to be your daddy for the next 3 years. He is the great white hope.
The great white hope.
Enjoy. Hell yeah. And by the way, they have put out 40,000 plus pages of the Epstein files. Have you read one page? Which pages have you read of the Epstein files? Let us know.
I'm sorry. And you talked, he rolled out the red carpet. He wanted you here. He wanted other big business here. He did things like tax incentives. Obviously, what we've heard from on policy in New York has been something different, an increased corporate tax rate, increased individual taxes at the high end. But in the context of what you've done here in Detroit, right, $2 billion that you've invested over the past dozen years, Mamdani said something else last night that hits right here in this room where we're sitting, and I'll play that.
We will prove that there is no problem too large for government to solve.
Yeah, because government does such a good job of solving problems, right? Like the U.S. Postal Service, like the DMV. We love those things, don't we?
Okay, so obviously I picked that for a specific reason. Detroit came back from bankruptcy and has passed, 11 consecutive balanced budgets under Mayor Duggan here. The population here is growing for the first time in nearly 60 years. But the
Dang, we got Skylar back in the chat. Just noticed.
Why is Skylar?
He's the transition, the person that's transitioning that called in.
Oh.
Cool. Yeah.
reason for all that, I would imagine you believe, is because the problem was too big for government to solve alone, right?
Yeah, I think, first of all, the government and business have to collaborate. If you just think one alone is going to fix the problem, you're probably not going to succeed. And government, and I'm not talking about the city government, The government has to, they take your money, they should say what they took it for, what was the outcome. So we don't acknowledge that the inner city schools in New York aren't doing a good job for those kids. That's number one. I don't care if you're a union member, a parent, someone like me, we have a problem. Then you decide how to attack that problem. How do you get them the jobs and skills? And there are things that work. We learn things that work in Paris. We things that work in Dallas. We things that work in the aviation high school near Jackson Heights, where I grew up. That's what I care about, is getting the policy right that actually matters, and that can help a city. Getting the policy wrong, it'll be a disaster. So, government, the heavy-handed government has failed at so many things, and that we should acknowledge that. So, when you look at America and they look at this, what they call, I'm talking about D.C., the swamp of D.C., they want to know what happened to their money. How can they?
In the chat, Brett Daly says, it's one of the saddest things in America that idiots think wearing a red hat makes them a tough guy. It's one of the saddest things, Brett. It's one of the saddest things, Brett, that when someone wears a red hat, people on the left get triggered and go cry in a corner.
Literally. Like, how did you come up with that whole thing that, oh, Medi thinks he's a tough guy? I know he actually is one and looks like one, so therefore you came to that conclusion, but he's just wearing a hat.
Should I change it to a different color? Should I put a different color hat on?
No, because that'll make you super tough.
Oh, yeah,
no,
that would
you
be...
can't do that. That's too misogynist or something.
If I put this hat on, they're going to want to go key my car.
Yeah, exactly.
The FAA is antiquated. How come the Veterans Affairs doesn't do a better job for its citizens?
How come they make? People are such dorks and they don't realize the comments they make them like, oh my God, you're such a loser. I wish we were like in high school together so I could bully you.
Should I show them this real quick? Should I show them that real quick? Is that...
Affordable housing is not...
The hat doesn't make me tough. That makes me tough right there, bro. Come and get it, dog.
Not affordable. How come we can't build pipelines that create cheap, good, low CO2 gas in New York City? How come we can't build new schools? How come we can't...
Oh, in the chat, dude, they're going off. He says, Brett wears his white sheet. Oh, Joshua, damn, bro. Damn, Lord, losers making assumptions without proof. Yep. What's the price of that Tesla, buddy?
K-12, and then we complain about it. And I can go on and on and on, where, other than maybe the military, the government's got a lot of speaking up about what they're doing with your money. Is it efficient?
Jennifer says, Brett missed the eyebrow reveal. Should we show them the eyebrow? Here's the eyebrow reveal. Check this out, dude. You want to see a long eyebrow? Which one is it? This one?
I mean, no, you don't need to like do that. Your entire eyebrows are long. What do you mean? You don't need to get that close.
Look at that. Look at this thing. It goes all the way down to here. Look.
Oh no.
And she won't let me trim them. Last time they tried to trim my eyebrows, she almost lost it at the guy.
That's like his look. What are we gonna do without them?
Oh man.
Is it effective? How is it being used? And sometimes, as a business person, I always ask first, am I already spending what I'm doing well before I ask for more?
I know you had a brief conversation with Zohran Mamdani, or at least he told me that you did. Yeah. And I got the impression it was pretty recently, yeah.
No, but it was a long time ago because I had not gone to a meeting. I was just telling him I didn't not go to avoid him. I was out of the country. And I said, feel free to call me, and we have not spoken since. I left a message today.
You left a message today?
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously you're willing to meet with him anytime.
I will, and if I find it productive, I'll continue to do it.
Incompetently let in, and let in by the millions, actually. 21 million people. I believe it's 21 million.
I think this is
that's
live.
not even including the gotaways, but these are rough people. We want them out of our country. And I won the election based at least partly on that, and that's a big part, yeah?
I don't know if you saw this. Tim Walz is now saying about Trump supporters, and forgive me, I'm just reading a quote from Tim Walz, I think I could kick most of their ass.
Oh boy, he'd be in trouble.
Is there any way to know?
Oh, he's a loser. Yeah,
what a loser. I love Trump. He talks just like me.
He played a part. Usually a vice president doesn't play a part, they say. I think Tim played a part. I think he was so bad that he hurt her. But she hurt herself, and Joe hurt them both. They didn't have a great a great group, but I would probably put him at the bottom of the group.
Have you heard that Biden
Mr.
wants to get
President.
back involved for
Mr.
Democratic
President.
politicians fundraising and campaigning against your policies? What do you think of that?
I hope so.
Mr. President, there are several families. Mr. President, there are families from some of the people.
Who are you with?
I'm with La Nación newspaper from Argentina. There are families from some of the people that were on those flights to El Salvador that claim that they're not criminals, they're not members of Agua, of MS-13. What can you tell them, and what guarantees can you give them that everyone in those planes were actual criminals, terrorists, as you said?
Well, I was told that they went through a very strong vetting process, and that that will also be continuing in El Salvador. And if there's anything like that, we would certainly want to find out. But these were a bad group. This was a bad group, and they were in bad areas, and they were with a lot of other people that were absolutely killers, murderers, and people that were really bad with the worst records you've ever seen. And but we will continue that process, absolutely. We don't want to make that kind of a mistake.
Mr. President, is the U.S. planning to give up the position of NATO's Supreme Allied Commander, and if so, why?
NATO is something that I saved. NATO is God.
What are they talking
until
about in
I
the
came
chat?
along.
They're saying that I'm using Botox or something like that.
They're haters. If they see someone
Previous
cute, they're gonna be
Secretary
like,
General, very good man. Both of them
Are
are
you
good.
talking
The
about
current
me?
man
I don't
is
have lip filler. You
fantastic.
have to see my mom
But
and
both
my
of
little
them
brother
said
to
if it
understand
wasn't
that.
for Trump, you wouldn't even have a NATO, because we were paying the cost of almost.
It's called blessed.
Oh my God, bro. It's so good.
I love that. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Skylar is jealous because I think Skylar.
I think it's a girl.
We talked to Skylar on the phone, and it was obvious there's something going on. I mean, I could be wrong, but he's transitioning. Maybe, I don't know. He'd have to explain, but maybe he's jealous of your lips.
Oh, it's the one that's transitioning?
I think so.
Oh,
yeah.
you want to look like me? You can't. You have to have good genetics.
We got another super chat. You want to read this one, or should I do it?
No, you do it.
Okay. TF to cut. Content gave us a $10 super chat. Thank you. Says, I don't believe a word that comes out of the orange goof's mouth, but hey, at least the government shutdown that the Republicans were responsible for has ended.
Fake news, okay? You know it's the Democrats. And are you not even in America and you're doing that? Like, you're such a loser. Isn't that Canada?
Is it Canada? Really?
I think. I don't know. It's a CA.
Oh, I don't know what that. Oh no, it's just, that's the money. Okay.
It's just like that.
Yeah, dude, it's the Schumer shutdown, not the Republican shutdown.
Literally, like everywhere is telling you that the Democrats were voting against it, and you guys just like are so in denial about your side that you always try to turn it the opposite. It's honest. Just no. You're losers.
Everyone's saying hi to you,
Hey.
by the way. And we got Tamara said what's up.
I
And,
kind of can see hi.
and then we got who is it here? Said Eric M says Miss Medication is a smoke show, man. Congrats, because she is definitely out of your league, bro. No disrespect, buddy. Good wheeling. Damn.
Oh no, he's so cute.
Oh damn, bro.
He has other things. I'm just kidding. No. No, I love him. No, I'm not perfect. I have lots of flaws, and he loves my flaws, and that's what makes it a perfect
Hell
relationship.
yeah. Well said. Well said. Here's another super chat from the same dude. Cut Content. It says, I love how you can't read a basic sentence without stammering. And yes, it's Canada, you uneducated dent heads. So you were right. It is Canada.
Yeah, because the other ones would just show it like a dollar because it's dollar. This one's like Canada.
I got you. Damn, Miss Medication coming through, dude. Holy cow. Look at that. Dent heads. Interesting. Right on, bro. You're well, thank you for the super chat, bro.
All of the countries. And
Keep
now
it
they're
coming.
saying, I said, we're not going to do this. They came out from Africa, from the Congo. They came out from Asia.
This is the Democratic shutdown. That's why it needed 6 Democrats, in this case, 8 Democrats voted, and that's why we have the government back open. You know, that's how it goes. And this dude's from Canada. What?
Not just South America. Well, now in this case, Marco Rubio has.
Because Canada is woke as hell, and they're competing with Australia with who can be more woke.
Oh.
Yeah, dude.
The only thing I know about Canada is that anybody I know that lives there is like dying to come here. That's all I know.
Literally.
No,
literally.
literally.
Of course.
Literally.
That's a no-brainer. Absolutely.
And like that Canada accepts like almost everybody, you know, people from like Middle East, and yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah, and
that's all I know about Canada is that like anybody that lives there is like, God, I wish I lived in America.
I mean, they do whatever they can across and come in here, and they're part of that population that's immigrating as much as they can. They save up to come down here, but the people in the chat are confused. Skylar says Australia is woke. Yes, Australia is woke.
Well, Skylar is confused about who he even is.
Literally.
So it doesn't matter. I'm not going to explain to Skylar shit.
Exactly.
A lot of big decisions to make, and he's a fantastic person, a great man. I think he'll be our best war with China. We don't want to have a potential war with China, but I can tell you if we did, we're very well equipped to handle it. But I don't want to show that to anybody, but certainly you wouldn't show it to a businessman who is helping us so much. He's a great patriot. He's paying a big price for helping us cut costs, and he's doing a great job. He's finding tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse. But I certainly wouldn't want, Elon has businesses in China, and he would be susceptible perhaps to that. But it was such a fake story. The New York Times is just as fake as CNN and MSDNC.
Damn.
And anybody who read that story, people laughed at that story. Who would do such a thing? And the first thing I did is I called Susie, and I called Pete. I said, is there any truth to that? And they said it's ridiculous.
Joshua says the only thing good to come out of Canada is Aaron Mullen. Do you know Aaron Mullen? Have you heard of that?
No.
No, never heard of Aaron Mullen.
Should we Google him?
No, he's over there to talk about cost. You might want to address that, Pete. But Elon was over there today to address cost. Doge, thing called Doge, which you've heard about. Pete?
That's exactly right, Mr. President. You pointed out it was a fake story. We pointed out it was meant to sort of undermine whatever relationship the Pentagon has with Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a patriot. Elon Musk is an innovator. Elon Musk provides a lot of capabilities our government and our military rely on, and I'm grateful for that. We welcomed him today to the Pentagon to talk about Doge, to talk about efficiencies, to talk about innovations. It was a great informal conversation. The rest of that reporting was fake. There was no war plans. There was no Chinese war plans. There was no secret plans.
Love it, bro. You got the Secretary of War right there, bro, telling you how it is. And you got, who is it here in the chat? Jonah Vex. He's a Skylar. He can't read, but he's reading the chat. Retard.
Sources, or they don't have sources. I think they make most of it up.
Beta male. Beta male.
But this was a made-up story by the New York Times.
I got a book for you to read, Skylar. Here, read this one. Read this book.
I call it The Failing. It's a failing newspaper. It's failing. And they shouldn't do that.
Because he's in love with Marxism and socialism.
We do need honest journalism in this. We've made such big strides over the last 2 months, but we just need honest journalism, and we don't have it. When you have a CNN, you have to watch these people every once in a while just to see where they're coming from, and it's so dishonest. MSNBC is, I think, probably worse, and they're both doing horribly in the ratings. I think they're going to be turned off. I don't think they're not doing.
Eric says, have you read The Medici Effect yet? No, I bought it when you told me to buy it. You literally told me to buy it, so I bought it. Remember? I haven't.
You guys need to stop telling him to buy books, by the way, because like our house is like filled with books right now, and we don't know. I don't have the library yet.
Nobody would believe what I said, and they do believe me. April 2nd is going to be Liberation Day for America. We've been ripped off by every country in the world, friend and foe. We've been ripped off on trade. We've been ripped off on military. We protect people, and they don't do anything for us. It's just so unfair for years and years. And now some of that money is going to be coming back to us in the form of tariffs. Tens of billions. It's going to be numbers like nobody's ever seen. So
Billions and billions and billions.
I swear he's like
Hundreds of billions of dollars of investment.
He does. He does. Trump is the king manifester, bro. Right?
Yeah, I feel like he does. He like talks to himself like,
if we're gonna do this, it's gonna be the greatest ever, and it's gonna bring in billions and billions and billions of dollars.
The biggest chip maker in the world announced.
And then what happens? He manifests it. It does. He literally believes everything, and it ends up coming true.
Billions of dollars of investment, hundreds of billions, not millions, but billions. They're all coming here. Apple just announced $500 billion worth. They're going to build plants here. You know, they built their plants in China. They're going to build
like
them
no
here.
one's ever seen. Look, Tao even says it. Like nobody's ever seen before.
And they're starting immediately. We have investment, the likes of which this country has never seen, already announced.
The like of which this country has never seen. He just said it, bro. Billions, like no one's ever, the likes of which no one in this country has ever seen.
All we get is unemployment and empty factories. Those days are over. So now those three places are going to build here, but many more than that. We have a big one. Honda is building, just announced a really big plant in Indiana. Great state, smart place to build. And we have many car companies coming here. The steel mills are going to be booming. And many other things come with that. But we need that for defense. You know, there are certain things you have to have. You have to have steel. We would have had, if I didn't do in my first term tariffs to stop the onslaught, because they were dumping steel in order to destroy our steel plants. If I didn't do 50% and even 100% in certain cases tariffs on steel.
W. Jason, bro, says, let's get it, Trump. He's the great white hope, baby.
The great white hope. The great white hope.
Yeah, baby. Don't be like Skyler.
Beta. Man, be a alpha male, not a beta male.
You wouldn't have a steel plant.
That's amazing.
In the United States. And Biden was unable to get rid of those tariffs because they threw off so much money that his numbers, which didn't work anyway, because his numbers were terrible, what he did, the way he spent money was so horrible. And what he allowed to happen to energy. That's the other thing. Energy is going to be like it's never been before. Mr. Vice President is here. Do you have anything to say
about Trump? Because Trump is just great. It's going to be like it's never been before.
I'm just here to watch the show, sir.
Okay.
I think airplanes are pretty cool, so I wanted to check this out.
Airplane's cool. It is cool.
Mr. President, anything that China can do to take off the trade war at this point, though?
Well, I'll be speaking to President Xi. I have a great relationship with him. We're going to have a very good relationship. But we have a $1 trillion deficit because of Biden with President Xi. More than that. I mean, I've heard $1.2 trillion. We have a deficit. And I've explained that to President Xi. We also have a problem where he's allowing fentanyl to be sent into Mexico and then cross the border and, you know, killing. I think the number is much higher than the 125, 115 that I think it's closer to 300,000 people a year. And so that's a problem. But they have a tremendous surplus against the United States, and we don't want that.
Mr. President, why do you want to control Ukraine's power plant? A number of industries have come to you asking for exemptions on tariffs. Is that something that is under consideration by you?
Well, people are coming to me and talking about tariffs, and a lot of people are asking me if they could have exceptions. And once you do that for one, you have to do that for all. So, I mean, generally, I did something interestingly during 2 weeks ago. I gave the American car companies a break because it would have been unfair if I didn't. And everybody said, oh, he changed his mind on tariffs. I didn't change my mind. I helped our, sort of big three, big four. I helped some of the American companies. And instead of taking it properly, they said, oh, he changed it. I don't change, but the word flexibility is an important word. Sometimes there's flexibility, so there'll be flexibility. But basically, it's reciprocal. So that if China's charging us 50% or 30% or 20%, and I don't mean China, I mean anybody, any country, Canada. Nobody knows that Canada's charging our dairy farmers. They have 270% tariffs. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that.
Someone's in La La Land. Jack says, Joshua, are you are blind? Trump has the worst approval of his career. That's not true.
I don't even understand. He literally just got elected less than a year ago, right?
Yeah.
Or no, exactly a year ago. So
popular vote, mind you.
I know. So it's like,
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
Down in less than half. They don't spend money on military because they think we're going to protect them. There are many things that they do, like icebreakers. They want us to provide icebreakers for them. Oh, that's wonderful. So, the Canada, they're very tough traders too. I want to just tell you, all the people, they're tough traders. They trade very tough. And, you know, the expression I use is, some people don't have the cards. I used that expression about a week and a half ago, right?
Exactly.
Somebody was negotiating who didn't have the cards, who's now, I think, saying that he wants to do it, and I think we're going to have...
What a moron. Jack is completely retarded. He says there was an election... Totally, completely retarded. He says there was an election days ago and Democrats won big. No, Democrats didn't win big. Democrats won in the majority Democrat districts. Nothing changed. It was the same. Democrats won where Democrats will always win.
A big deal on that very special something. We got to make a deal on that. But Canada has been a very nasty negotiator against the United States, took advantage of the...
I love how Democrats pump themselves up over something they didn't even win. New York City was almost always Democrat. It's always votes blue. It's you could be a rock and put Democrat next to your name and you'll become mayor.
Exactly.
Literally, you could be as dumb as a rock. You could be an actual rock and put Democrat on the ballot and you'll become mayor.
Yeah, because you're fucking...
It would be great. Now,
dumb.
Is it liberal? Maybe. But, you know, a conservative until I got involved, because I don't care who wins up there. I frankly probably would do better with a liberal than the conservative, if you want to know the truth. But just a little while ago, before I got involved and totally changed the election, which I don't care about, probably it's to our advantage, actually. But the conservative was leading against, I call him Governor Trudeau. The conservative was leading by 35 points. So, you know, so I don't know about that. I think Canada is a place like a lot of other places. If you have a good candidate, the candidate's going to win.
And I don't know if you've seen this, but the two astronauts that you just helped save from space, they didn't get any overtime pay for all that extra time. They got $5 a day per diem. For 286 days, that is $1,430 in extra pay. Is there anything the administration can do to get them to make...
Chris Posty just answered the question. Someone in the chat was saying, what about Georgia? And Chris Posty answered that question for you. And actually, Chris Posty answered it in everywhere else in the U.S. where they're trying their hardest to win. They're gerrymandering to get more seats.
Well, nobody's ever mentioned this to me. If I have to, I'll pay it out of my own pocket, okay? I'll get it for you.
Damn, did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
He says, if I have to, I'll pay it out of my own pocket for those astronauts that didn't get overtime or extra pay. Wow.
Is that all? That's not a lot. For what they had to go through. And I want to thank Elon Musk, by the way, because think if we don't have him. You know, there's only so long, even though they're in the capsule up there, that the body starts to deteriorate after 9 or 10 months and gets really bad after 14, 15 months with the bones and the blood and all the things that you've been reporting on very well.
Oh, that's
and if we don't have Elon,
thank you,
they could be up there a long time. Who else is going to get him? And I just want to thank him. He's going through a lot, what they're doing to him. And these people are going to be caught, and they're going to be caught, and they're going to be prosecuted.
He's absolutely right, guys. Think about if we didn't have Elon Musk, we had astronauts that NASA sent up in space, which is what you guys on the left love, is to have government run everything, right? You prefer that, you're socialist, Marxist retards, right? You rather have a government run everything. Well, there you go. You had NASA run by the government. They literally got their own astronauts stuck in space. You can't make this shit up.
And then they didn't want to help him.
They couldn't help him. They did not know how to actually bring these people back. Guess who had to go and save them? Elon Musk. And guess what? They played political games with these people.
So fucked up.
They prolonged. Elon Musk could have got those people back 8 months or more earlier. And they played political games because of the election. They wanted to prolong so that Elon Musk could not go and save them and be a savior and show
because
that
he's friends with Trump. That's like the only reason.
Exactly.
If Trump said like, I hate Elon, it would be like right away, send him in.
Exactly. Exactly. And so they literally prolonged these poor astronauts in space for another 8+ months so that Trump and Elon don't get that political W. And they just completely did what as a country, what you're not supposed to do.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Who was it here that gave us that line? It was Mitzi, thank you for that. Mitzi said, I stayed on this chat longer than I ever do and thanked us for it. Thank you so much for supporting us. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. But dude, if we didn't have Elon Musk and what we call capitalism, private people able to have their own private companies, people to be able to build companies with their blood, sweat, and tears, and then be able to keep the money that they earn, the money that they make. They could keep the money that they earn and build other companies and other great things with that money and innovate. Then we wouldn't have Elon Musk being able to create SpaceX with his vision and go and save those astronauts. It wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
That's what socialists like Skylar, Marxists like Skylar, don't, and the Democrat Party that have transitioned, that changed their gender from woke to socialist.
Yeah.
That's what they don't understand. That's why they hate capitalism, but they don't get it. It's things like capitalism that has allowed you to have someone like Elon Musk create this and go and actually save NASA astronauts that were created by the government.
And from what they tell me, I see this, we have a lot of great people, but we have to move that back to the States. We're going to make our country strong, and we're going to get people much better jobs because we have companies moving into our country, the likes of which we've never seen before. Nothing like this has happened. And it's automatic. They don't want to pay the tariffs. How do you avoid paying the tariffs? You build your plant in the United States, and it's a beautiful thing to see. I see it. So far, I would say $4 trillion. Nobody's ever heard of them. No country's ever heard of numbers like that. $4 trillion, and those are the best ones. The biggest, best chip maker in the world. I'm not a fan of the CHIP Act, where you give billions of dollars away to companies that don't need it, and it won't bring them here. I'm giving nothing away. All they're doing is coming here, they're building because they want to avoid. Remember this on the tariffs, too, because that's going to be, Liberation Day, April 2nd.
Spammer.
It's reciprocal. If they charge us, we charge them. So somebody said, well, how much are the tariffs? Very fair.
I'm Persian.
India, as an example, has been very bad to us on tariffs. They charge 100%, 200%, whatever they charge. Now, Europe just announced they're lowering the tariffs on cars. We charge like a joke, 2.5%. That's what this country charges. Europe just announced that they're reducing their tariffs on cars to 2.5%. It's nice. But they also have non-monetary tariffs.
Are they trying to hit on you?
It's impossible for the cars to get in, even without the dollars on them and the dollar signs. It's called a non-monetary tariff.
Oh, she is, Tamara?
They put on controls where no matter what happens, because they don't want cars. They don't want the American car in their market. And yet they send us millions of cars. They send us big agriculture. They don't want our agriculture. They don't want anything from us. European Union's very bad. But now it's fair. So whatever they do to us.
Skylar, you're smoking some crack, okay? Put the crack down. And the funniest thing is, like, calling someone a Botox grandma. I look younger than anything that you probably ever look like, okay? So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And actually, like, in my personal opinion, the older you, get, you're the more beautiful you are. So I'm prettier than when I was in my 20s. Now I'm in my 30s, and I'm just so much prettier. I just believe that.
Absolutely. And Jack says, wait, you were being racist to Arabs before and you're Persian? How do you think other racist people are going to see you?
I'm Persian.
Bro, first of all,
First of all, I'm American, right? And I'm Persian American. So, but that's okay.
Yeah. And so I'm actually born and raised here in Southern California. I am American. My ancestry, my parents are from Persia or Iran. And Persians are not Arabs. And it doesn't matter. I can say whatever I want about whoever I want. There's no such thing as racism, by the way. There's preferences. Let me ask you a question. If I say that I don't like Muslim women, am I Islamophobic? If I say I would never date an Arab girl, am I racist?
Portfolio. We have of great education, much better than it is now at half the cost. And we're not even doing it as a cost item, although you will save probably half, maybe more than that. And you're not going to be at the bottom of the list. You're going to be much higher. And maybe
Skylar wishes she was a mean girl.
I will guarantee some of the states will be at the top of the list. They'll be comparable
come
or better
over
than
to
these
OC
number 1, 2, 3,
and show
4,
me how
5
mean you are.
countries. The countries that are in the top 5
I would
positions.
eat you alive. Literally
so
eat you
to me, it's very
alive.
exciting, and it's been received very well. So I just wanted to tell you about the student loans and special needs. But we're here for a reason today that is very exciting, and I'm thrilled to announce.
So you're gay? I didn't know you were gay. How did you become gay?
That at my direction, the United States Air Force is moving forward with the world's first 6th generation fighter jet. Number 6, 6th generation. Nothing in the world comes even close to it. And it'll be known as the F-47. The generals picked a title, and it's a beautiful number. F-47.
That's a good question. What is a woman?
47. It's something the likes of which nobody has seen before in terms of all of the attributes of a fighter jet. There's never been anything even close to it, from speed to maneuverability to what it can have to payload. And this has been in the works for a long period of time. After a rigorous and thorough competition between some of America's top aerospace companies, the Air Force.
These guys are trying to give us numbers on Trump. They're trying to say his approval rating, right? But we're not dumb. You made a claim and I said it's a lie, and you still have not proven your claim. You claim that Trump's approval rating is the worst it's ever been. That's not true. His approval rating is not the worst. Oh, we got Skylar calling. Oh my God! Here we go. Here we go. I think I remember the phone number. I think this is. Let's see.
From Skylar.
It's Skylar. Oh my God.
To send a voicemail, press 2.
Oh my God. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
It's Skylar. Dude, did you just change your voice a couple octaves so you could sound more like a guy?
I felt like my voice is pretty high right now anyways.
Is it? Guys, how does Skylar sound to you guys?
Like a guy.
Skylar?
Yeah.
Are you there?
Mm-hmm.
What's on your mind, Skylar?
I want to talk to the Botox grandma next to you.
Go on.
I love that I trigger you. You want to look like me? You want to be like me?
No, it was just your looks kind of are kind of annoying me, and I want you off the screen. So can you get out?
I would annoy you because you want to be me.
Don't.
Oh, you want to look like me? Should I give you some tips?
No, I don't want to look like an old.
Should I give you some
Botox
tips, babe?
Grandma.
Should I give you some tips?
For Botox? No.
No, to look like me.
I mean, I could get you a better Botox doctor if you want. I mean,
I think first you have to understand what Botox does. That's one. Education is very important.
It numbs your
Botox gets
skin
rid
so
of
you don't get
wrinkles.
wrinkles, and that's why you
Yeah,
can't
and I think I
properly
have
speak.
some wrinkles, but thank you. That you think my face is so smooth that there's no wrinkles.
You can't smile.
Two,
That's the reason I'm calling you out for Botox.
I can't
You talk
smile.
like a
I've been
Muppet,
laughing
man.
at you the whole time in the chat. And Botox doesn't do that, by the way. Again.
You would know.
Yeah, because I'm educated. Try it.
Oh my God, bro. I'm sweating laughing, bro. This is good.
But I'm so glad that I came on today just so that I could annoy you, Skylar. I'm going to do it more often on purpose. Your wish is my command, okay?
Min says her eyebrows go up, dude.
Again.
Yeah, I have a lot of expression in my face. But I don't care. I think that if somebody thinks that like you do Botox or whatever, it's fine. I've done it before. It's literally, it's a compliment. It means like they're so annoyed about how you look that they're like, I got a Botox.
Oh my God, bro.
It wasn't obvious, man. I couldn't notice, you know, when I first came on, the first thing I couldn't see was that Botox. That's why I did not send Botox Grandma as my first message when I saw you. It's not noticeable at all.
Okay. I don't have actually Botox right now. I need to go get some for like these wrinkles. Do you see this is what Botox does. It makes you like not have wrinkles like that. But I will before Christmas. I do it twice a year in case you want to know. And I only obviously on the forehead because that's the only place you could get it. And you should do it because as you get older, you don't want the wrinkles to settle in. I mean, later on, you could just follow me on Instagram and we could go over this because I know you're transitioning and you need to look more like a girl. And I'm probably a very feminine looking girl. So you can get some.
You got me unmuted?
Mitzi Childress says, this is literally what's wrong. He says, there is literally nothing wrong with her face. He's a gay guy that resents women for being women.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly how those.
Is that true, Skylar?
That I'm gay?
Yes. Is that true?
No, I literally just had sex like 10 minutes ago with a woman.
10 minutes ago, you were on the chat 10 minutes ago.
You was doing it on the
like
chat?
chatting after I have sex.
No, you were on during 10 minutes ago. You were on our stream. Are you having sex
that was
during my stream?
After I had sex. I've literally get in your chat every time I've had sex. It's literally been the past 3 days.
I think you should block him.
Wow. Wow. I didn't know that's the kind of relationship we have. That right after sex you come to my stream.
Yeah.
Anyways, how did you find out that he was transitioning?
Did you at least clean up afterwards?
No.
Did you shower?
Yeah.
You did? You showered and then you came on?
Yeah, forget this conversation.
Wow, bro. Okay, let's keep going. Thanks for calling, bro.
You know what's kind of funny about this? I'm not lying. I'm legitimately not lying.
No one cares. I know you're like a loser and like that. You think like that's cool. It's not. When you grow up, you understand.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Guys, holy cow. What is going on, guys? Wow.
Contract for the next generation air dominance platform to Boeing.
We can clear the path for the ground forces below. That's been our commitment to the fight. And that's really been our promise to America. And with this,
you cats, dude. You cats, bro.
47 as the crown jewel in the next generation air dominance family of systems, we're going to be able to keep
Aquarium's time them out.
I also want to thank everyone from industry and with the government, our engineers.
You guys, I had so much fun with you.
Worked
But I have to
tirelessly
go.
on
I
this
have
program to
like
bring it where we are right now today.
100 people.
This shows that American talent, American skill, and American determination are second to none.
I got people to manage.
Because this platform.
Thanks for blessing the chat.
I love you guys all.
Thanks for blessing the stream. Love you. Holy cow, guys. Miss Medication came and put it down on you. Woo! Jack Gibb says, how do I prove Trump's disapproval numbers for you? You have to show that this is his lowest approval rating ever, like you said earlier in the chat, which is not true, so you won't be able to prove it. I know my numbers, bro. You're not talking to a simp. Come on now.
We believe that this provides more lethality. It
Tamara says she loves you.
provides more capability.
They all love you, babe.
More modernized capability in a way that is built to adapt. This, along with our collaborative combat aircraft the President talked about with drones, this is allowing us
W. Faraz Gatan says Persian Americans for Trump. Oh yeah,
to
in
look
Israel.
into the future
I have my own
and
business,
unlock
Sam.
the magic
Okay.
that is human-machine teaming. And as we do that, we're going to write the next generation of modern aerial warfare with this. This enables us to do this. The manner in which we put this program together puts more control in the hands of the government, so we can update and adapt at the speed of relevance, at the speed of technology, not at the speed of bureaucracy. This is more Air Force. This is more options for the President. We say as our mission in the United States Air Force is to fly, fight, and win air power anytime,
So it took
anywhere. If you
apparently a
want to
lot
go
of
anywhere,
courage
you
to
have
get
to have
this
a
done
platform
on the
that gives you
Democrat side. 8 Senate Democrat caucus members voted with Republicans to break the filibuster, a massive leap toward reopening the government. But it's just the first step. And those Senate Dems have sparked a fire of rage, igniting a civil war among members of their own Democratic Party. So they are taking some heat now for the decision they made to put the country and suffering Americans ahead of their own politics. This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner, here with my co-host, Kayleigh McEnany, also joining us today, Kennedy, host of the...
Oh, dude, he's talking about January 6th now. Did you guys realize that the CEO or whoever it is of BBC has resigned because they admitted that they made up the video of Trump, what he said about during the January 6th, what they call riots? I'll show it.
Kennedy Saves the World podcast. Cheryl Casoni, Fox business anchor and host.
They basically took Trump's speech and they cut it up into ways that made him sound like he said something like, let's go fight, but it was actually lies. They actually literally cut it up and they missed the whole part that he said, we're going to go there and cheer on, not what they put where they said fight
of American Dream
like
Home
hell.
on Fox Business, and David Asman rounding out the contention of Fox Business with us today, and we are really, really grateful to have him.
Take it over.
All right, well, the U.S. Senate voted 60-40 to pass the GOP's revised spending package overnight. And again, it's the first step in a series of procedural events, which could take days. We pray that it won't.
Check
the 8
this
members
out.
of the Democrat caucus who voted with
Hello, good
Republicans
evening.
are
Tim
either
Davie has tonight resigned as Director General of the BBC, along with the CEO of BBC News, Deborah Turness, after a week of criticism of BBC News coverage and allegations of editorial mistakes.
And I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you. And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
So that's what they put out there with this video of them going, and it was a complete lie. And he's going to put the real one right now. Watch, this is the real one. Watch. You're going to see this.
After this egregious assault
This is what he really said.
on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol. And we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them. But I said, something's wrong here. Something's really wrong. Can't have happened. And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. Our exciting adventures and boldest endeavors have not yet begun.
What happened here today was an insurrection incited by the President of the United States. Those who choose to continue to support is a dangerous gambit by objecting to the result.
It was completely cut. They cut it horribly. That made the whole country think that it was Trump inciting a January 6th insurrection. Completely bogus.
Results of a legitimate democratic election will forever be seen as being complicit in an unprecedented attack against our democracy.
State line knows, dude. State line knows. Totally bogus, guys. Completely bogus.
Hiring, so they basically had nothing to lose, or not facing re-election in 2026. Sunday night's Senate vote is only further exposing divisions among the Dems.
We are going to fight legislatively, fight back home, fight in the courts, and bring this fight in the elections.
I think there's going to be a lot of very angry people out there in this country. I know there will be a lot of angry people out there in this country, having watched just a handful of Democrats join with Republicans. There's no way to defend this.
What was wrong with his voice? Is he taking like puberty blockers or something like that? Or
Senate is about to
estrogen?
do is make a horrific situation even worse.
Beta male.
Okay, you know why he's so angry, Chris Murphy, right? Because he didn't get what he wanted in this whole, I don't know, extortion move. Well, it doesn't stop there. Democrat politicians are voicing their concerns over X. The airlines are praising the vote, but there's still a mountain to climb. Flights canceled, federal workers not getting paid, SNAP recipients still not getting their food assistance benefits. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the issues from the shutdown are not going away immediately.
It's only going to get worse. I look to, the 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, you're going to see air travel be reduced to a trickle.
The President Trump on his Truth Social today posted,
Guys, what are you guys going to do with your $2,000 Trump is sending for those tariffs that the other countries charged, that he charged the other countries? What are you going to do with your $2K?
all air traffic controllers must get back to work now, 3 exclamation points. Anyone who doesn't will be substantially docked. For those air traffic controllers who were great patriots and did not take any time off for the Democrats. Your thought on that?
Well, it's very interesting, first of all, that it is now revealed, I mean, most of us realized it was the Schumer shutdown. I mean, it was a Democratic shutdown.
Riverwalk? What's Riverwalk at Christmas?
Even though the media, about 85% of the media was saying no, it was a Republican.
Oh, Lex is going to get Botox.
Republican shutdown. Now it's pretty clear to everybody that the Democrats had control over whether the government opened or not. And the 8 defectors are the ones that are proving that point. First thing that was happening was the human price was just becoming too hard.
It still is. It's not over.
You cats, bro. Is that what you're talking about? Big C? Damn.
It's not over, but not only on the workers and the service people and everybody who is not getting paid, who should be getting paid for the work they're doing. And Faraz says, pay my debts I accumulated during Biden. Would put number 1 there, the air traffic controllers, at least in terms of public safety. But the inconvenience was also.
Min says, the Riverwalk that I asked about, she says San Antonio, Texas. She says, I'll post it on Discord. Guys, we have a good active Discord. Feel free to follow us on Discord. And actually not, but join the conversation because we talk off stream on Discord. The link is on my YouTube channel page. You just click on the links and you'll see it there.
Also a problem for Democrats. But there was also some threats from the president. The president, I think, kind of played this very well. He realized that there were certain things they were vulnerable on. First of all, the filibuster, suggesting, we know that the next time Democrats have a trifecta, they have the House, the Senate, and the White House, they're probably going to try to pull the filibuster themselves to get a couple of new states in, to get more electoral votes, et cetera. His threat to end the filibuster, I think, scared the heck out of a lot of Democrats. But also his focus on Obamacare and the incredible unaffordability.
He makes a good point. So Trump was saying that he's going to get rid of the filibuster if they can't figure this out. And guess who all of a sudden came and voted to get this thing going?
Of the Affordable Care Act is becoming very clear. That was the main sticking points of Democrats. They wanted at least $1 trillion, if not more, primarily to bail out a system that we were told was going to lower prices. Instead, prices have increased 96%.
They wanted that money without reforming it. They just wanted more money into it because they don't want to change it. You know what was so ironic about that, though, at the time last week?
Tell me, Alanis.
Well, I'll make it quick. So Obama was speaking because he was trying to help out candidates in mayoral and gubernatorial races on the East Coast. So you had him talking, and then you had Democrats holding out in the longest in our history government shutdown over Obamacare and how broken it is and how nobody can pay for it.
So what would have happened if Obamacare wasn't jacked up and oversubsidized during the pandemic? Would rates have skyrocketed later this year? Yes, they would have, absolutely. So that just goes to show you the program was overwrought, and that the rate hike and the pain that people are going to feel who thought that they could rely on this new government subsidy, they are now completely left in the cold by something. This was a can that was kicked. You know, Obama didn't care because he knew he wasn't going to be in office any longer. So when the pain really hit, it's like having an adjustable rate mortgage. And then all of a sudden it goes fixed rate when rates are high.
Ooh,
and you can no longer afford it. And that's the pain that people are feeling right now. But what the Democrats are proposing is just more government. So every time we have more government in one of these horrific hybrid programs,
Random wants to
somehow it
get
gets
busy.
more and more costly. And the only fix when you have too much government for them is more government. Hakeem Jeffries is running around saying, you know, we have an affordability crisis. People can't afford everything. Well, maybe their taxes are too damn high because they're paying for broken programs.
Like the rent in New York, remember him?
Exactly right.
I agree.
All right. A column in the New York Times is arguing that before the Senate Dems decided to cave last night, quote, Dems were on a roll, so why stop now? The piece explains, though, Democrats were winning this one. Polls showed that most voters blamed Republicans, not Democrats, for the current shutdown. And last week's Democrats wrecked Republicans in the elections, and Trump blamed his party's losses in part on the shutdown. Democrats were riding higher than they have been in months. It's worth noting the headline, Democrats were on a roll, why stop now, was changed. It now reads, what were Democrats thinking?
There's a little turnout right there when we went live. I did say it real quick, and that was very clever. It did work, though. The driver probably saw that officer jumping out there with to toss out
for the coming days, and if the bill clears the Senate, it will move to the House, where once it's passed, we'll move on to the president.
There's a live car chase.
We don't see police behind this individual at this point, and the feed kind of going in and out.
Oh, it was Deshaun. Deshaun got him, bro.
Somewhat in all of this. Let's just again dive back into some of this out to the viewers, but you can see kind of the shot going in and out. We'll keep you aware of all of this developments here. If it does go out, it looks like all of our shots are somewhat frozen at this point. Is this now extending several miles south? It started in the Brentwood, Burbank. I heard Van Nuys potentially
It'll
be
come
the
back.
Genesis of this.
They're in the mountains. They're in those mountains going over like
California. So we're getting back in now.
They're going over that area that's like what is it? Aliso Hills. Okay, it's back.
From this carpool lane, the 405 south, all the way
It's back.
down in Laguna Beach, their exit 2. So San Clemente, all of those kind of areas a little bit further
They're in
south.
like
So
they're in like Laguna Hill here.
holding there as that feed somewhat goes to the black as they are so far south right now, the South Bay, south coast of Los Angeles into the OC, into Orange County right now. So we're waiting and watching to see if anything unfolds right now. But this was the vantage point, our Fox 11 team overhead, the latest details on this pursuit of a stolen van in Southern California. We're going to talk a little bit about what we watched unfold, hoping that now the feed popping right back up. So some good news in terms of that. So not sure what's going on. 2 police cruisers there behind him. You could see kind of Stu talk about potentially what this might be, speculate on what's going on.
Psycho's mad, bro. Psycho's off his meds, dude.
That police are trying
Someone
to
help him out. Guys, please pray for him.
Not exactly sure who this individual was, what they're going through that led them to this exact moment.
Big
But
mad,
right now
bro.
they're
Look at him. He's
in
lost
Southern
it.
California here
He's
live now
lost lost it.
Near the Crown Valley Parkway, the I-5 southbound, heading down to San Diego. I don't know if we got down to San Diego, if that would mark potentially a record. At least we're live now because we have not seen one in that length. We've seen one go for quite a bit of time.
Will they let him go to Mexico?
This is going all the way from Van Nuys, Brentwood, through the Inglewood area, all the way down through Torrance, down to the Irvine area and beyond. So again, just the shot going in and out, and that might.
Psycho Somalia, I think, called the Ghostbusters.
Coastline, and if you ever driven along
the
ghost, it is very,
he called
very
the
close to the
Ghostbusters,
Pacific
bro.
Ocean
Some
at a
ghosts
certain
are
point,
after him.
significantly beyond this. So I'm not sure if that happens here very closely.
Dude, is this?
So we're just following this here on Live
Can
Now.
this guy actually make it to Mexico?
Would
Would they let him make it to Mexico?
Senate feed. Beyond that, and we now see stepping up. We're going to take you back out to Southern California, but quickly we go from West Coast to East Coast. Kevin Hassett now stepping to the microphone at the White House. Let's listen in.
Well, I think that when we studied the matter in the
racism doesn't exist.
Deficit reduction might be the best use of those monies, but we've had a big surge in tax revenues. We've seen even a bit surplus in the latest monthly Treasury report. And because of the surge in tax revenues, I think that's a position that Congress and the President are reconsidering.
They're so annoyed at me. Bye.
Say bye to Somalia. Say bye, Somalia. Say it.
Bye, Somalia. Why? What was happening? I wasn't watching.
Somalia's in the chat.
Very often when there's something like this, then you don't give it to Mark Zuckerberg or something like that. And so it really depends on where the knobs are. And right now, I can't give you guidance on that. But
an estimate, though, that you're working
we have
on
estimates of all the different options. Yeah.
Mr. Hassett?
I'll go this way and then I'll come this way, I promise.
When the president says that grocery prices are down, what numbers is he basing that on, given that's not true, and even Marjorie Taylor Greene has acknowledged that it's not accurate?
Right. Well, I guess the question, inflation is down. It's one of those things that very often when people talk about economics, they slip derivatives, as we say. And so the point is that inflation is way down. It averaged 5% under Joe Biden. It's running at about 2.5% right now. And the thing, though, is that people's purchasing power dropped by more than $3,000 because of the inflation of the last 4 years. It's up by about $1,200 this year. And so purchasing power is improving, but we haven't closed the entire gap, and that's why people still feel the pain of the higher prices.
Grocery prices are up.
Well, not everything. I mean, egg prices are down. We used to talk a lot about those. In fact, it was your first question here in the White House. Wait, why haven't you covered the lower egg prices?
About household prices, we certainly have covered that. Energy as well, but grocery prices are up about 1.4% since Trump took office.
Which is a big decline in the rate of inflation of grocery prices.
They're down and they're up.
Inflation is down, is what he means. Yeah.
So does the president support for?
Dang, bro, he's putting them to bed. Look at that.
He support guaranteeing back pay in the Senate bill.
Right now, the president is grateful for the people, the cooler heads that have opened the government. We're grateful that we're not going to have, hopefully, massive flight disruptions during the Thanksgiving break, which was caused massive economic disruption. And he's looking forward to what the final deal is, but he supports the final deal.
Well, there has been a lot of, question about how much revenue the tariffs are going to bring in and how much would have to be paid back if they fall. What is that number? How much money are these tariffs bringing in from a revenue standpoint?
Well, if you go to Customs and Border Patrol, they update that number almost every month, maybe sometimes quicker than that. And I think the latest number for so far this year is around $200 million. But you could look it up to get the exact number.
But as you guys forecast out,
and that's just for this year. So if you're going to have,
but as you guys forecast out, what's the expectation for what would come in like for this fiscal year?
Yeah, I guess the OMB has the latest forecast on that, but I've just looked at the Customs and Border Patrol numbers, and it was about $200 million.
Just to follow up on that question, does the president support back pay for all federal workers?
The president supports the deal that gets the government open. He's been 100% supportive of that.
Would that include back pay? Would he guarantee back pay for all federal workers?
I think everyone's going to get back pay. It looks like it's part of the deal.
Kevin, how big of a financial hit, have the airlines taken, in your estimation, due to the shutdown?
I haven't seen estimates yet, but it's a serious hit. As an economist, since we've seen about a 10% reduction in flights, you might assume that their revenue's down by about that much. Although sometimes it's not as big because if there's fewer flights, they might have higher ticket prices. But I'll get a report on it and get back to you.
You asked about the 50-year mortgage thing on Fox. How seriously is that being considered by the administration?
again, the issue is that that under President Biden, mortgage rates went up by about 4 percentage points, and that about doubled the typical monthly mortgage payment. And because of that, we've seen like a real sharp reduction in first-time home buyers especially, and also a reduction in people's willingness to move. And it's something that we take very seriously as a policy challenge.
The chase is still going on down there in the corner.
Mortgages can reduce monthly payments by hundreds of dollars, and it's something we're taking very seriously.
Wouldn't that be something that is being studied as an imminent change? Would you need Congress? It would. Or is it more deliberative at this point? I guess.
There's a lot of legal analysis, but if it requires legislation, then it wouldn't be imminent.
Wouldn't that be the same as essentially renting, and how would homeowners build equity?
No, it wouldn't, because you would basically build equity, first of all, a little slower because it's 50 years instead of 30 years or 15 years. 15-year fixed is often a great way to build early equity. But don't forget that you get the equity if the price goes up, and on average prices have tended to increase. And so I don't think that the absence of equity is a serious concern about this. And the bottom line is that we need to, the average age of a first-time home buyer has gone up by about 10 years in just a few years, and it's something that we're very serious about addressing. Okay, thank you guys very much.
Is the president actually considering a national housing emergency declaration?
All right, just listening in there, Kevin Harris, the director of the
They're going to
National
go back to
Economic
that chase,
Council,
I'm sure.
Advisors there speaking out, and that's what we do here on Live Now from Fox, bouncing around to all of these top headlines you can see there in our nation's capital. But let's quickly shift back out to the West Coast as we hopscotch back to this police chase breaking unfolding.